Sister Wives Kody Brown's ulterior motive for meeting with Meri? As Sister Wives Season 19 continues, viewers have very strong opinions on Kody Brown's uncouth behavior. Kody and Meri have had plenty of tense conversations since Sister Wives premiered in 2010, but some believe the one from Sunday's episode takes the cake. Did he have ulterior motives for meeting with his first wife? Fans hated Kody Brown's demeanor while talking with Meri. During Sunday night's episode, Kody and Meri sat down for a tense conversation. It didn't seem to be particularly productive. Kody said cruel things to Meri as he typically does, insisting he never loved her. However, fans were incredibly proud of Meri when she finished the conversation by telling Kody it was a shame he never saw what a great person she was. Overall, fans thought it was an odd encounter and didn't paint Kody Brown in the best light. That unhinged Kody/Meri conversation, a Sister Wives viewer shared on Reddit. I'm really not trying to be harsh or smarky, but Kody is clearly not mentally well, and it's been evident for a while. But I know his erratic conversation with Meri in the latest episode is one of the most blatant displays we've seen of how unhinged he's become. The OP went on to allege that Kody was completely incoherent during the episode. They cited specific instances including Kody being angry over marrying Meri in the first place, but also being angry about her asking for a release from the church. It's just baffling, the OP continued. I do believe he's sincere when he says he regrets how messy his splits with Cristin and Janelle were and how those relationships have deteriorated. But it's far too late for him to try to repair anything with Meri. If that was his goal in this conversation, he did a piss-poor job of it. Sister Wives viewers offer their own opinions. Other Redditors agreed the conversation was incredibly manipulative. Most insinuated that Kody wasn't interested in talking with Meri, he simply wanted to make himself look good on camera. Reddit users wrote, he only wanted this meetup to save face and get her to admit he didn't abandon her, that it was equal. To me his mania is simple, he doesn't want Meri, but he needs Meri to want him. He doesn't get how appalling it is to keep repeating that he never loved his wives before Robin. He thinks it helps his case somehow. The way Meri kept looking at the crew in shock leads me to believe there were even more unhinged comments he was tossing out there. Kody Brown sat at the head of the long wooden table in the empty dining room, his fingers tracing the worn edges of the tabletop. The weight of the silence around him was almost suffocating. He glanced up at the clock, its ticking the only sound breaking the stillness. Meri would be arriving soon, and despite his outward calm, Kody's mind raced. His wives knew him to be a man of conviction, a man who followed the will of his faith and the path laid out by his calling. But as time passed, the lines between divine purpose and personal ambition blurred. With the recent unraveling of his plural family structure, cracks had started to show, and Kody knew he needed to play his cards carefully if he was going to keep any semblance of control. Tonight, his meeting with Meri wasn't just about reconnecting with an estranged wife, there was something deeper brewing beneath the surface. Meri had been distant for years. Their relationship, once built on trust and love, had eroded to near-nothingness, marked by emotional wounds and the infamous catfishing scandal that had only widened the chasm between them. But Kody knew Meri. She was loyal to a fault, clinging to the ideals of plural marriage even when her heart was no longer in it. She'd stayed, tethered to the family despite being on the outskirts, hoping for a sign that Kody might someday look her way again, and tonight Kody planned to use that hope. He heard the front door creak open, and the familiar sound of Meri's footsteps approached. She entered the room cautiously, her face wearing the mask of someone who had built emotional walls so high they were nearly impenetrable. Kody stood, greeting her with a warm but measured smile. He knew this conversation had to be handled delicately. Meri, he began, his voice low and inviting. I'm really glad you came. She nodded but didn't say much. The tension between them was palpable. Years of unresolved issues hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. I've been thinking, Kody continued, choosing his words carefully. About us? About everything we've been through. Meri's eyes flickered with something, hope, maybe. But she remained guarded. What do you mean, Kody? It's been a long time since you'd shown any interest in us. Kody sighed, running a hand through his hair. He knew this wasn't going to be easy, but if he could steer the conversation in the right direction, he could get what he needed. I know, and I take responsibility for that. But things are changing, Meri. The family is changing. Cristine's gone, and Janelle, well, you know how strained things have been with her. Robin's struggling to keep things together. Meri crossed her arms, her posture defensive. What does that have to do with me? Kody's expression softened, but inside, his mind was calculating. Meri didn't know it yet, but this conversation wasn't just about repairing their relationship. It was about securing his future. With the family fracturing, Kody needed allies, people who would stay loyal to him, and Meri, despite everything, was still one of those people. If he could reel her back in, she could become a key player in stabilizing the narrative he wanted to present to the world. I've been thinking about our future, Meri, Kody said, leaning in slightly, his voice full of sincerity. I want to find a way forward, for us, for the family. Meri's eyes narrowed. Why now, Kody? After all these years of keeping me at arm's length, why are you suddenly interested in a way forward? He could feel the skepticism radiating from her, but Kody was prepared. He'd anticipated this response, and now it was time to appeal to her sense of duty. Because, Meri, I need you. The family needs you. We've always been stronger together, and I believe that if we can work on rebuilding what we once had, it'll help everyone. Meri's expression wavered for a moment, and Kody knew he was getting closer to his goal. But he also knew she wasn't going to fully buy into his pitch without a little more persuasion. I'm not asking for things to go back to the way they were, Kody added, his tone softening. I know we've both changed, and we've both been hurt, but I believe that we can start over, find a new way to move forward together. I want you to feel like you belong again, Meri. I want you to be part of the family's future. The words hung in the air between them, and for a brief moment, Kody saw the flicker of hope in Meri's eyes once again, but just as quickly her defenses went back up. What exactly are you asking for, Kody? Because I'm not sure I can trust your intentions. Kody paused, weighing his next move carefully. He couldn't let her see the full scope of his motives. If she knew that his primary concern was shoring up his public image and securing the family's financial future, she'd walk away for good. Instead, he framed his response in a way that would appeal to her desire for belonging. I'm asking for a chance, Meri, he said, his voice gentle but firm. A chance for us to reconnect, to rebuild trust. I can't promise it'll be easy, but I can promise that I'm committed to trying, and I hope you'll be willing to do the same. Meri stared at him for a long time, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. Kody could see the internal battle she was fighting, her loyalty to the family versus her need for self-respect. He needed her to choose loyalty. Finally, she spoke, her voice quiet but steady. I'll think about it, Kody, but I'm not making any promises. Kody nodded, offering her a small smile. It was a step, and that's all he needed. He could work with that. As Meri stood to leave, Kody watched her go, knowing that the seeds had been planted. It wasn't love or reconciliation that drove him, it was survival. In this game of family politics, Kody was playing for keeps, and tonight he just secured another pawn on his side of the board.